I want to make a couple additional comments about the lawsuit. As everyone knows, my father and stepmother passed away like 3 years ago, and now the estate's in probate. They had a will, and they discussed a will often, or their intentions for the property. There's a lot of witnesses who saw the will, where it was, and everything. So it was stolen to prevent it from being executed. So the person that stole it concocted a scheme. It's like Philip Missick dies, everything goes to his wife Marianne. She dies, everything goes to me. And it's the property, right? 16 acres out in the country. So probably get a substantial sum for maybe if you sell the property, you get a couple $100,000 maybe. So I mean, real estate values have been going up in Texas. So that's the plan, right? So I got the house and everything on there, and just doesn't care about that. This individual, they just want the money. It's cash out. So what do? We were there when I got records about the day when the place was burglarized and some of the damage she did to the. She tried to ram her vehicle through the. My dad had this big metal fence, still damaged. She when she's trying to go in there and steal things, she rammed her vehicle into the gate to go in there to burglarize the facility to find the will so she could prevent it from being executed and then claim the estate for her own. And then she had her brother named as the executor of the estate. He's just going to go in there and take all my worldly possessions, everything I own, and the property. So, I'm not going to allow this to happen. I'm going to sue. So what could happen? I feel like I feel very confident that I'm going to win this lawsuit. But what are the possible outcomes? So she took a whole box full of, like, Dad had a desk and is full of all of his legal files. She just emptied those drawers, and then you had my dad kept journals, so he had the last 2 years of his life. She doesn't need those. She's exploiting that for information or trying to, especially. Uh, so you had the property, my father's property in Shepherd. My father pastored the church, so she tried to seize the church, close it down to sell the church property and liquidate that and cash that was. She already tried. The church did not belong, even though my father's the pastor. The church is an independent entity, so she can't. She tried that, but it didn't work. But she's after the property. She's trying to get what she can for as much money as she can, so she can cash it. So, what am I going to do? Just be a victim? No, we're going to take her to court and confront her of what she's done, what she's doing. Her and her brother. So, I think I have a very good case, and I'm going to win. But some people are saying, well, what if she's destroyed everything? I've already counted out that. I mean, it's sad. I should, especially Dad's diaries. She doesn't care. She doesn't care anything about that. Like I said, all she did was when she took it is she be on it. Dad had his little contact list, church members list in the back of that. She started calling everybody, telling them that she's going to close the church down and sell it, and it's hers now after they're dead. So she didn't. I mean, I guess that's sentimental value to me. That's my father and his reminiscences on. I want it back, but once she's stolen it, you realize that the chances of getting it back, unless you go to court and get a court order to get it back, or it's very unlikely. She'll probably she'll probably try to claim, oh, I didn't do these things, even though we have evidence and testimony, including her own admission that she did. So, what if she's destroyed the will and everything? She still get a judgment against her. She could still be compelled to return it. She refuses to, for whatever excuse she has. She still has a court order and a judgment against her. So I mean, it'd be good. It'd be fantastic if I got everything back from her. If she just surrendered it. But if I don't, I could still win against her. If I get a judgment against her, the judgment was in my favor. And then what if the remote possibility judge doesn't rule in my favor? Why I stood up to her, because you just can't sit by and let these things happen, right? You have to stand up for what's right, and don't allow yourself to be a victim. So I believe I'm going to win, but if I don't, at least, it's like, should I just sit back and let her rob me and then take all my everything I own, my father's everything? Or should I try to fight back? Win, lose, or draw. And I'm not going to lose. But I think I have a moral obligation, no matter what, to fight back. Even if I think, well, you're not going to win, for sake of argument, which I am. It's like, just on moral principle, you have an obligation to use whatever resources you have to protect yourself from this blatant theft, right? For her to steal everything and pocket the money, she has to prevent the will from being executed. And like I said, by her own admission, she has copies of the, of one of the wills Dad made, and she's admitted to. She's described it in detail what she has. So it's like, hey, look, this is what you said you took. Where is it? And we know why. Because she's greedy and all she cares about is money. She's trying to exploit her mother's death, my father's death, for her own personal financial gain. It's disgusting, and it's her mother grieved, knew what become of her, and it grieved her mother, and she anguished over her daughter. But I guess some people are irredeemable. Just pray that we have a victory, and that right prevails, and this gross injustice is prevented from taking place, and the will and desires of my father and stepmother, which were widely known because Dad would talk about the property and his intentions for it often. Plus, we have the will, a copy of it, and I hope that we get, because I was talking to somebody who's in the know about the will that Teresa has or took, and it's like, well, it says the same thing the will that you found says. So I have a photocopy, but she has, I guess, original drafts or alternate copies. They say the same thing, which is understandable why she doesn't want it to be executed. All right, so that's what's going on. Pray about the situation. I hope we have a just and equitable resolution.